Governance Committee to order. First is public comment. At this time,
I just have a quick comment.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, I sent, Todd, I couldn't find your email address on the website for some reason, but anyways, I'm not that good at searching, I guess, but anyways, I did send a few documents out. We did a person had a grant in our town to survey the community. Over 500 people were over surveyed about policing and so forth. And I sent that to, I think, the Richmond Select Board and Josh. And I sent to everyone else a collection of kind of comments that are aggregated about what kind of police chief we would like to have. And I just wonder, where does that live? I know Todd had mentioned a database at some point, or spreadsheet. I just wonder, did you guys get it, and where does it live?
I got it.
Yeah, the committee got it. It's on the Hinesburg website along with the agenda.
So you got the survey too, that
I don't think I got the survey, no.
that's a pretty extensive study. It was like a 10 or 12 page study about policing in Richmond, not too long ago. I'm thinking that might be what Bart was talking about. So Josh, you got that, right?
I don't know if I remember seeing the survey. I think I got.
I didn't get the survey. I don't think.
I think I forwarded the document. to committee,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Noble's son had done that whole research through the university.
What did I forward to the committee? Did I forward that whole thing?
No, the survey wasn't in there, but we can get it. Just
Okay.
send it again.
What is it? Where's, It was the strategic plan exercise, I think. That where it was? No. No, sorry, that was wrong. It was
Well, maybe we can.
vision for policing from Patty Brush.
Well, there's a survey that I didn't write.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I didn't forward that to the committee. Let me see if I can find it.
I wouldn't worry about it now. We can.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You'll send it to us, okay?
Yeah.
yep,
Any additions or deletions to the agenda? All right, consideration of approval of minutes from 6:23.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Update on the Intermunicipal Police Agreement for reciprocal general police services and patrol services.
so both
Signed, right?
both boards have signed it, and yeah, it's in action now.
Okay,
I do think, as I was kind of thinking about, because things have kind of changed from when we first drafted that, we should look at rates and that kind of thing again at some point. But we don't need to do that right now.
okay. Update on the communication with state police regarding scheduling.
Yeah, so I spoke with Deb. She's a Northern commander last week, just letting her know where we are and where the departments are. We're going to be in contact again in a couple weeks. Just basically I told her, we're pretty skeleton crew, so any slight change could really make an impact, but they're aware and lines of communication are open. So, as far as, they seem happy or they're not mad, they understand where we are and they're going to try to continue to work with us.
Awesome. So how does the dispatch work? Like, are we sharing? Did we merge that together? Can we merge it together? Cause it's not cheap.
No, right now the state police dispatches for Richmond and Shelburne dispatches for Hinesburg. I don't think the state police would take on Hinesburg, and I don't know, because Richmond, they get it for
We're grandfathered in
Military?
right now.
yeah, so I don't think Richmond would be, but that is one kind of the complicating factors and working together is the two
is-
different dispatches.
So
And-
possibly someday we're gonna have to do that, right?
Uh,
Maybe.
possibly, yeah, it all depends on what the state does, really.
Yeah, and moving forward, the other thing to consider is actual radio coverage service. So not just which dispatch center it is, but what radio signals and actually reach different parts of each community. And that's been one of the hiccups in Richmond. We're kind of in this bowl of a valley. And not many towers get enough radio signal into our bowl to then get us back out for service coverage. State police is one of the few because they have a tower on Mount Mansfield that helps us out with getting full coverage. Maybe Essex has a tower up, but again, we have to ask them, but they have a tower up at Brigham Hill Road that might be able to reach in. But that's kind of the towers for the Shelburne side are on the other side of the mountains for us, and we rarely get Shelburne coverage.
Well, it's something we can look at some point.
Yeah, and Shelburne has put Hinesburg, I noticed, at least for the fire department side, that they're looking to increase their charge for dispatching pretty significantly for fiscal year 27. So I imagine the same would be for the police.
Well, the police had a thing 3 or 4 years ago where they were trying to charge everybody. When that died, I think everyone pushed back. I'm not sure where that stands though.
I think it's probably going to come back.
I would imagine. I haven't heard about it lately.
Yeah.
And so far, we've been grandfathered in, and
But even that.
even that they were looking to push.
They were gonna phase it in like 25%, 50%, 100%, something like
Yeah.
that. But it was tens of thousands of dollars a year.
Yeah.
All right, any update on the status of the search for interim police chief?
Yeah, so Josh and I met with Jim and Julie last Friday. They explained at that point they had reached out to 2 people. The 2 people they reached out to were interested. They felt that there was one person who was probably a better fit for the communities than the other. So they were going to reach out to that individual this week and see about how they would want to potentially meet with Josh and I. Because at this point we don't know who they are and that kind of thing. And that was really it. They had talked to 2 people. There's one person they think would be a good fit, but Josh and I, the next step is for us to meet with them one way or the other and kind of see where things go from there.
He's interested, or this person's interested?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And they didn't want to give too many details. But I mean, they seemed positive.
They seemed very excited about the candidate. They thought it would be a really good fit. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think, there over the weekend, I was thinking there are some logistical things that we'll need to figure out because it mainly has to do with retirement. So if it's someone who, and I don't know that this person is, but if it's someone who's drawing a retirement from the Vermont municipal system, they can't work more than 24 hours a week because they're barred from having a second pension. So that's just something you and I will need to keep in mind and maybe get advice about is how we
Yeah, I thought
address that.
this person was looking to retire in a few years, so this kind of like fit into their end of career.
If that's the case, that will be a lot easier.
That's what I took away from it.
Okay. That would be, yeah, wasn't quite clear if they were looking to retire in a couple of years or if they were going to retire and then do this. And if it was the latter, that'd be more difficult. But if it's just ending out their career before they retire, that's a lot easier to because otherwise we'd probably have to look at, I don't know if it's anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I just want to bring that issue up so people are aware. I didn't think about it until this weekend. It's like, oh, right.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm still not sure who or what we're looking for. And so would this person be like Frank's supervisor? And so Frank would still be the chief? Or what is it that we're looking for here? this point.
And an interim chief,
So chief, so Frank would no longer be the chief.
correct?
And will the community be involved in any of this process?
I don't know. For an interim, I would say it's probably less likely just for logistics and that it's not a long-term commitment. But I gotta say to be determined, but you know, for an interim, I wouldn't envision a huge.
I thought this person is going to help create the vision for the future of policing in Richmond. I would think that's a pretty important job. This isn't just a bookmark, it sounds like, right? This
I
person's
think it's too early to say. I mean, we don't know who.
Oh, I thought you had a job description that talks about what. this
Not
job
yet.
is.
Not yet, no.
So we're hiring some before we have a job description.
Well, it would be a police chief job description. We're not saying we're hiring anyone at this point.
Yeah,
But I mean, I think we're pretty clear that the goal is to come in, run it in the short term. And also then provide feedback to this committee on best next steps. Thinking back to how we had, Paco Almond, and I'm not sure what the
Yeah.
community involvement was in hiring him, but he came in for a short amount of time. Did a lot of research, worked with the select board and provided, advice on steps forward, and that's really what we're looking for this person to do.
and Jim will still be engaged so that we can move forward with some help, or is this person theoretically the administrator also of the process that we're gonna go through, the potentially a parallel process of doing a joint municipal district and the thing that we're doing right now, which is contracting back and forth. I mean, there are lots of questions about the evidence. Is this person's job description to take on police chief as well as walk us through this whole thing we're doing with the two towns? I'm just.
I mean, that's the idea to some extent, but we need to meet with the individuals and see what they're interested, what their strengths are. But yeah, if we could find someone who, the overall idea is someone who could, stabilize departments, hopefully bring some more people on, and then kind of help chart a path forward that's long term. But at this point, Jim and Julie are just engaged to try to find, through headhunting really, and candidates, for an interim chief position.
And this committee will continue on figuring about governance and what the ideal would be and what are those problems of dispatch and all there's a zillion policy aggregation and all those things that we need to kind of figure out in order to have kind of a joint collaborative police forces, or no?
Yeah, I think that this committee my thought was this committee would continue on, but then we'd have an expert in the position to help guide us through some of those things, because we don't necessarily know the best answer to dispatch, for instance, but I think them, along with the feedback from the officers, we'd be able to figure those things out. And like, how do we, because that would be part of there'd be a lot of those details if we go through a Union Municipal District that to figure out. And this person will provide a lot of that feedback.
So in other words, once we get someone, this isn't over.
I don't envision it being over. I think we're gonna, as long as we continue to try to work together, I think we're gonna need to continue to meet together.
Anything else? All right, discussion of traits we are looking for in a police chief. From everything I've read and from everything I've heard at these meetings, I think we're all on the same page for the most part. Would you agree, or?
Yeah, and I think you summed it up pretty well before the meeting, when you were saying you were looking for somebody who's very skilled in community policing, but also has a law enforcement background to be tough on crime when there's crime.
Yes.
You said it differently, but that's paraphrasing. Arrest people who need to be arrested, but follow 21st century policing.
Yes.
Anything about how far away this person can live? I
Can
mean,
live.
that's been a big problem for us,
Yeah, I think it's too.
that's living an hour away.
It's too. I think that'd be something more of a consideration for a permanent, long-term chief. I mean, I think it's sounding like it's not a huge pool out there, so I wouldn't wanna shrink it too much.
But sometimes
right out
you
the gate.
give an incentive if they live in town, or is that?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, the thing that we're going to not really struggle with, but we're seeing it now. I mean, just, especially for officers with the cost of living being so high in this general area, it's going to be tough for people to live close if they're moving from somewhere.
Mhm.
Or they decide to go to another department that's closer to where they can live more affordably. It's certainly going to be a challenge.
It's also a challenge to ask someone to move for a short
Yeah.
period of time. Where they might be moving back in a year to a year and a half later.
Yep.
So that also is a challenge with an intern versus a permanent chief. You can definitely ask, hey, I want you within X amount of miles within the next 6 months or a year as part of your contract.
And one thing, you just made me think of it, that I think that the candidates are looking at would also be interested in continuing to work shifts, so they could help with some of the shift coverage that we need to.
Mhm. Yeah, ideally, we would find someone who still has their certifications and can
Yeah.
fill in where necessary, especially with this level of staffing that we have now.
We could use every shift we can,
Uh-huh.
especially if they like to work Saturdays in flexible part-time.
Right.
Does anybody from the public want to add anything? All right,
Hi, can you hear me? My name's Connie Van Egan.
yes, go ahead.
There we go. I heard you say that community policing was one of the priorities that the interim police chief would be asked to focus on. And that is one of the items that came up in, I'm sorry, I'm a Richmond resident. I'm a member of the Richmond Racial Equity Group. And in 2021, we did that community survey that Patty Burchett had talked about and had sent you all. And it covered some other key areas that were put in a nice bar graph. And I wondered if you'd let me just share my screen and I could show it to you, because community policing wasn't the only thing on the list. Could I do that?
Yep.
All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate this moment. There we go. Do you all see a bar chart?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. So just to go through what it says, this bar right here, so there were a little bit less than 300 people who responded. And towards the end of the report, and this is figure 16 in the survey when you go and look at it yourself once it gets posted. This particular one asked the open-ended question of what do you think Richmond Police Department should focus on? So the biggest response was incorporate social work, mental health professionals in the work of policing under the broader caption of public safety, that this was extremely important. That was 51 people out of 300 came up with that response. 34 people in Richmond mentioned community policing, 28 partnering with community organizations, 23 less weaponry, 20 create community oversight, 10 more transparency, and 9 create an information response team. Like, if I need to know how to get help, how can the town of Richmond help me get what I need in order to help me in whatever crisis or problem public safety issue I'm dealing with. So I just wanted to enrich your kind of view of what it is that, and I know the interim police chief can't necessarily make those things happen long term, but that person can say, here's what this community values based on a survey that was done in 2021. And this is some indications of what that kind of policing could include in addition to community policing. So I just like to add that. You've got the survey, I know somewhere, and I wanted to focus your attention because it's a it's a 30-page document, but I think this is the figure that helps answer that question the best.
Thank you.
Any questions about that or anything else I can do?
Question.
Yes, Brad.
Hi there, Connie. Thank you for that. I would not question what was done in this community survey 4 years ago. But what I would question would be, would the results today be the same? And the reason for that is that back in 2021, the police departments around the country were under siege. And I think we've seen in a lot of communities, not only in Vermont, Burlington in particular, but other areas around the country, Portland, Oregon comes to mind, where things got out of control, where it was, more food, not cops or whatever. And so I just would like to say that there may be a slight bend in your analysis 4 years later. That's all, because things have changed since this survey was taken. Thank you.
I agree with Brad completely. I would like to add another thought, if I may. Josh or Todd or whomever.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Surveys are not hard to do, and especially when they're focused around a particular item. This was a lengthy survey. I could easily see assisting an effort to, like at the town level, to ask community members, what do you see now? I think that's exactly the source for saying, what is the vision of the future police department and what traits are we looking for in a future police chief? So if an interim police chief was committed to thinking about how do you engage the community in describing what the vision is and what the focus of the police department should be, it wouldn't necessarily be the data that I showed you. It would be new information that we could ask both towns to participate in. And I think that would be really informative and reflective of the current times, just as Brad said. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, I've add a comment to the data you were sharing on there. From my experience with both departments, we have almost modeled most of those traits up there. The one is less weaponry and better info sharing. I think weaponry, I think we have what we need for any situation we're asked to be called to. And it's hard to adjust what we have currently without having further training and evidence based on to adjust that. And then the other one with the info sharing, I know we've been working on sharing more and more information from the police departments. And that's someplace we always can improve upon, is providing more information that we do have to the public. But as far as community-based mental health programs, we've been incorporating community outreach, Howard Center. We've been incorporating a lot of those community-based policing and working with our organizations and other stakeholders in our towns. So I do see that we have moved towards those directions that the community has asked for. That's just personal experience. I don't know if the community also sees it, but a new survey as we get going down this process probably is warranted.
I mean, nothing on that bar chart surprised me at all.
Hmm.
And Hinesburg just completed a public safety plan a year and a half ago. So I think we're pretty up to date, a little more current. And again, similar themes. But we've also heard a lot of comments about crime, about burglaries mainly, and theft and that kind of thing, and being able to have a presence to be preventive.
Right.
So that's kind of probably where we're lacking at this time, just given our staffing levels.
And I think as we improve our staffing levels, that will help that issue.
Yep.
Any
I just say one other thing. So one of the things that has been talked about, we saw it on the bar chart, we heard the woman at the beginning, Jennifer, talk about, police oversight. We've had police oversight committees. It hasn't been that helpful, honestly. The thing that seems to be, where we have landed, and we landed with the select board on this, is that that oversight comes from the community, not necessarily a committee. And that if, for instance, Richmond and Hinesburg have an idea of what the police are doing and get that data, and we've been talking for a while about the kind of data that would be very helpful to have on a website and so forth. We hired extra office help this past year. I think it's a 30 hours. What is it? What is the help for the police?
Budgeted at 20 hours, we still have.
20 hours a week, and with a real emphasis, I mean, we, as the public, was data on the website, that would be a big part of what that person did. And potentially this new person who is in a leadership role can help that continue on. It's a great way to build trust, and that, you know, you don't have to have an oversight committee. You just look, how many people are getting referred to CJC? You know, what kind of training are the officers doing? You know, what kind of, everyone is supposed to be reporting race-based stops, you know, and searches. All of that is data that is required and should be on our website. So I would hope that your new person would help lead in that direction as well, because we've been wanting to get in that direction for a while.
A public safety dashboard was one of the big recommendations that came out of Hinesburg's recent study. At this point, it comes down to resources.
Yeah.
People and money for the programming.
Yeah, well, we've got some money for that, so eventually we can be doing some of that in Richmond and getting it organized.
Okay. So items for next agenda, do you think we need to meet until someone is hired, or is there anything more?
I say that we'll let you, I think we'll let you know when we feel like there's enough information to make it worthwhile people's time to come back and share what we have.
Okay.
Because at this point, when's the next regularly scheduled meeting? What's today?
No,
So the 28th.
Do you want to schedule it for that?
Yeah, we'll keep that date.
Keep that date?
Yeah.
If you'll give us a week's notice or something?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I.
Thank you.